Welcome to Sex and Breakfast, the sexy way to start your day. Dishing out sexpert advice and spicy insights about sex, love, and everything in between. Hosted by sex coaches and therapists from around the globe.
Hello there, it's Diane here, and today we'll be introducing a hot topic, but underrated but hot topic, which is about touch. But we really want to be specific about the touch that we want to touch on this topic today. So we're going to be discussing the 5 gears of touch by Dr. Barry McCarthy, and we're going to be having conversation around how important touch is for couple self. We always touch stuff, especially in the modern day where we really spend a lot of time looking at the screen, like what we do now, right, ladies? And so, yes, let's delve in. Why touch is important? Because skin is our largest, biggest organ. And has any of you familiar with this concept of homunculus men? Is basically a three-dimensional representation that show how a man's body will look like if each part grew in proportion of the area of the brain concerned with. It can be movement or it can be sensory. So with this homunculus man, you can see that if the visual representative of that, it's is not the largest organ would be the hand, for example, because hand would be the area where it's the receptor of any sensory feeling that we have.
Dion, I was going to say that I remember learning something about this in high school, actually, the homunculus man, seeing that diagram. Does anybody
Yeah.
else remember that? Anyone else see that? Yeah.
You went to a progressive school.
Oh, I was like, I totally kind of remember this. And then seeing that like the big hand man and big foot. Well, we know the other big part.
Well, the other big part is actually the lips,
Oh.
not the genitals.
Oh,
Okay, why?
surprise.
So the reason I'm bringing this up, it goes to show that touch is the biggest, and our skin, and especially the hand, is the biggest receptor organs of sex, not the genitals. And this is highlighting the importance of placing touch, the most underrated skill in sexuality, at the forefront of sex.
I love that. So you're saying that the hands that people need to learn how to touch, kind of like relearn how to touch, rather.
Yes, absolutely, Dominic.
I love
Yes.
that.
And if we talk about Dr. Barry McCarthy model, he spoke about 5 gears of touch. So imagine, for some reason, a lot of sexuality models, they really love talking about car analogy, isn't it? Remember dual control model, accelerator, brakes. Anyway, I'm not gonna go that way today. We're gonna
I
be
remember
gearing.
that.
Yeah, we're gonna be gearing about 5 gear of touch. So let's go through it one by one. Gear one is the affectionate touch. So this touch is something that that a basic touch is the foundation that can foster really deep emotional connection between couple, and it's something that we do daily, right? Something like hugging, kissing, or sometimes we do it with our friends, um, and and the nice thing about this affectionate touch is it can really build the closeness. It can make you feel really warm towards each other. Now, the other aspect of this touch is quite often um, people mistakenly link this moving from gear one, which is affectionate touch, and all the way to full on intercourse. And this usually is the problem, can be problematic with a couple in the long run, because quite often sometimes we just need a kind of a gentle kiss and then stay at that. But then it gets translated, okay, let's move from gentle kiss to all the way to intercourse, right? So this is gear one. And gear two, second gear, is the sensual touch. And I love how there's a car sound just behind us when we're talking about this. And the third gear is playful touch. The fourth gear is the erotic touch. And the fifth gear is the intercourse touch. So just to recap, this is what's going on usually in the couple, where a couple move from affectionate touch all the way to gear five. And in the long term, it can be potentially quite problematic.
I love that you're talking about gear one, Dion, because so many times in a sexless marriage, they're talking about sex, when in reality, it's like, hey, let's just bring back gear one back into our lives and make sure that we're starting with, are we touching each other in just an affectionate way? How can we just start instead of making this huge overwhelming task of, okay, we haven't had sex in years and now we're going to have sex? It's like, let's start like just bringing back affection into our relationship. And I think it takes the pressure off and just say, let's just start with gear one.
That's it, right? Is there a way that we can just stay in that?
Well, I was just going to say in general, in the clients that I work with, it's so wonderful to be able to put something like this and talk about the language of touch, because I think so many clients don't even know how to tell their partners what type of touch they need. So I love this discussion because it's actually really bringing more awareness to actually just the language of how we touch each other. And I love that. I'm looking forward to talking about this more, because I think that is something that most people don't really understand. So I think this can open up a lot of doors for people to be able to have more access to the types of touch that they like, and also types of touch that may not be appropriate for certain times. So thanks for engaging us in the discussion. Really appreciate it, Dion.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty standard conversation I have with all of my clients in session 1 and 2, even if it wasn't something that they specifically brought to the table, because it's like a nice opportunity to do an audit of the amounts of each type they think they're getting and which they desire. So I'm going to hold off on some more thoughts, because I love talking about also the space in between each of these. So I'm excited to dive into gear 2. But yeah, I just love talking about this with my couples.
Thank you, Dr. Norlin. So let's resume to second gear, which is the sensual touch. So sensual touch is like a pleasure. We move on to the pleasurable zone with non-genital touch. So sensual touch can look like you can still keep your clothes on, or if you want to be semi-clothed for this, it's also okay. You can think of it like a nice, slow foot rub, relaxing head or hair stroke. That can be an example of it. Even those really intimate moment where you're cuddling on the couch, watching Netflix while touching each other's elbow, waking up together, hugging. So this is like a little bridge between emotional intimacy and sexual desire. So if we have to put a scale to the arousal scale, it will sit between 1 to 3. Then let's move on to the playful touch, the third gear. Now, this is where things start to crank up a little bit. You are begin to move more towards the territory of sexual pleasure and arousal zone. So there's a mix of the still the intimate and the non-genital kind of touch, and but this could be something more spicy, like shower time together, full body massage, a bit of teasing, erotic dancing, getting into some sexy game. Um, Seems like in the US, quite popular, isn't it? Like strip poker, is it? We, we play. What do we play? Strip mahjong. I'm not sure if that's available
Oh
in
my.
no, don't,
Wow, that sounds fun.
don't quote me on this. I'm just making things up.
Just a
That's a
quick
new one.
thing. Who has played strip poker before?
I've, I
Me.
lose.
Okay, you can't see our hands, but it looks like almost everybody.
Nope.
And have you played strip mahjong, Dion?
I'm not good at this kind of game. I always, yeah, I get cheated on. And then he gets cold. So
Okay, sorry. Back to the playful touch.
yes, but this is it. This is about being playful, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Having fun. Um, yeah. So yes, on the arousal scale, this is really well. Move on to four to five out of the scale. So things start getting a bit heat up. And now the fourth gear is erotic touch. And this can be quite challenging with couples because it can be quite erotic and highly charged, but still does not include in intercourse, right? So this can be sexual play where we can do manual, oral, rubbing, using vibe. The challenge in this is, can you stay in this erotic touch and not jumping straight to the intercourse? So sometimes staying in this gear can really evoke that creativity, novelties, and can revive couples' erotic charge, and 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 yes, spark something off for their sexual relationship. So it's really about increasing that level of arousal before you proceed to either straight to orgasm or transition to the intercourse. And of course, on the arousal scale, this can be from 6 or all the way to 10 if that's what needed. And then lastly, we come to intercourse at gear 5. Um, so the most important thing about this gear 5 is really is not it's not a performance, or it's a pass or fail test. So supposing that you can't go to intercourse and you fail, I need to emphasize this to to my clients in Singapore or even in Asia, because we are very performance driven in general. But this is just a natural continuation of pleasure, right? And 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 the beauty about this, from 1 to 5th gear, is you can really move within the scale or just stay in one scale. So and you can flow between one to another, or if you feel like, I really feel tired today, I don't think I can have an erection, I'm just too tired today, can we just stay at the gear 5? So if the couple can really change the way they look at all these 5 gears, and even take orgasm as a goal of a table, and just mindfully focusing on pleasure, touch, mutual enjoyment, connection, then that's the goal. Well, back to the gear 5, the arousal scale will be 7 to 10. So yes. So as I mentioned earlier, within the our couples or even our clients, the problem is most of us tend to only use 2 gears, moving straight from the first gear, affection, and all the way to intercourse really fast.
Thank you, Dion. I am thinking of these clients that I had that where they would, when I was coaching them, I encouraged them because the woman didn't want to have, she felt that the guy just went on the touch continuum from like sensual and touch straight to intercourse. So I encouraged the different levels. And so one of the places they found their happy zone was laying in the nude, naked next to each other. But it turned out that every time that happened, the guy wanted sex. And so there was this learning piece that they had to embrace where it was like they had to relearn each other's bodies again. So yeah, I love that piece. And I actually didn't know I really even think of the touch continuum using that specific language at the time, but that would have been an excellent reference point for them. So thank you for the reminder about this topic. Such a great one.
That is really a good point, Dominique, because within this gear, the gear is just one of the tool, but within this gear, we can really hone into the person or the couple ability to speak about consent, to talk about assertiveness, right? Assertiveness can be verbal, non-verbal, and all of this can really tie into this touch, gear of touch or touch continuum. Especially, I think perhaps a lot of our listeners, their first sex ed could be, well, we know the majority could be porn. And within porn is really about watching something, visualizing something, especially with certain trend in porn. The touch, it's you only see that one aspect of touch. Mm-hmm. And quite often that aspect of touch could be really something that's demeaning for others. I mean, if it's done in consensual way, that can be fun, but imagine learning that and not having the skill to negotiate.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I find with a lot of my clients is that they don't have the language. They're not comfortable communicating about sex. Do any of you have that issue too, Erica?
Same thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right?
I mean, and as you guys are both discussing this, what came up for me is a couple client that I have that she, as soon as her husband would walk in the door, she was in the kitchen doing something, he'd come up and maybe touch her butt or something like that. And her immediate response was to push him away because she thought that equated to him wanting to have sex. And instead of just saying, hey, I'm happy that, I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to see you. I love you. But because we don't, again, it goes back to language, right? We don't know the types of touch and what our particular partner is trying to convey, right? Because if we're not communicating about that, either on either side, then we're not really getting the greatest information about what the intention is, right? So it is about talking and again, going back to communication and talking about these types of gears. What a beautiful exercise this would be to get couples, and even I think of groups of couples involved, to start talking about some of this, because I think that could open up so many people's eyes to be able to have touch that feels better to them and not to be that first reaction to want to run away almost, essentially. So I love this conversation.
Absolutely, Erica. It wouldn't be nice to just come home and maybe instead of not saying anything, just say, hey babe, your butt looks great. I just want to stay in number 2. I'm not going to go anywhere. Just stay in number 2. Just enjoying that great butts of yours,
Stay tuned for part 2 of this episode. Until then, send us some love by sharing, hitting subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps us connect to more incredible people like you. If you want to learn more about sex coaching or therapy, you can find us at sexandbreakfastpodcast.com. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at sexandbreakfastpodcast. The people helping us cook this all up are Michael Merle, creating our tasty tunes, dishing out our audio and video is Max Rainier, and our delectable visual designs by Brie Vilaubi.